Hello, my name is Steven, and I inherited an abandoned junkyard. First off, I just want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. I don't really know why I decided to vlog this entire experience. I think there's a part of me and a huge part of the people out there on the internet that are obsessed with seeing something that is tremendously messy transformed into something tremendously beautiful, and that is the hope that I have for this place. You know, I want to see it go from this ugly property, this old abandoned scrapyard, pick and pull junkyard, whatever you want to call it, and I want to see it transform into a beautiful home place with a nice backyard, maybe some farm animals, you know, not to get too creative right away, but you know, those are dreams that I have and things that I want to create, and I just kind of want to take you guys along with me, let you be a part of this experience. And honestly, I really want some feedback. So any feedback, any helpful tips, anything like that you guys have for me, if you want to drop those down in the comments, that'd be awesome, because like I said, I definitely want to read those. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear what you have to say, and I want this to be a community. I want to take you guys along with me on this journey, and I want you guys to be here for it. That being said, thank you guys for being here. Let's get right on into this property tour. You know, I'm lucky enough that there's not a tremendous amount of cars left over, just a few here and there, but there is definitely still plenty of mess, dirt, debris, and clutter to go around. I plan on doing an entire backstory of this place in my next video, so if you guys are interested in that, please hit the thumbs up. Right here, as you can see, we have a bush hog, remnants of a push mower, and we have what's left of an old parts car. Towards the latter part of my dad's life, he didn't quite have the energy and the desire to go all the way back up onto the back part of the field to look for different parts or whatever he might need. So, you know, the front yard kind of became that home for him. You know, it didn't look pretty, but it worked and it was functional. So I don't know, he went with it. It wasn't my place to complain, so I didn't, at least not very much. You see that old Buick down there? Yeah, not sure why, but that was my dad's safety deposit box, so to speak. Any important papers, any old coins, whatever it may be, were stored right down there in that thing. So after he passed away, I had to hook a chain to that car and pull it out and spend hours rifling through paperwork that had actually gotten wet because there was a leak in there somewhere, to still not find what I was looking for. As you can see, we've got leftover plastic and metal and, you know, just pieces of leftover materials that were, you know, non-scrappable. You can't exactly scrap plastic, so anything like that was left over. That's the original storage shed. I can remember when that was being built. It looks to me like the roof is giving way through the shingles. Yep, I can definitely see daylight through that. Of course, most of these things will have to be torn down or completely remodeled. We've got a nice little section of forest right there that is starting to grow up into the side of the metal on the garage. And I'm not going to throw any fault to my dad. You know, he just didn't necessarily have the funds or the capability to get out and fix these things up the way they should have been and to perform the maintenance. I was fresh out of college. I didn't have a great job and I couldn't have afforded the maintenance either. Hopefully it's not too dark for you to see, but the entire back of that lean-to back there is full of car tires. But there's probably 150 or so back there, maybe a little more. And the whole story behind that is when you scrap cars, they dock you if you have tires, because tires aren't metal and they can't cash in on those, and they're not going to let you cash in on those because that's just extra weight. So to avoid paying any penalty fees, my dad just, you know, ripped those tires off and had them taken off the wheels, and this became storage. Once again, more clutter, more mess to work through. I do want to take a second and apologize because I'm sure that the videography aspects of this and the audio probably isn't that great. Pretty new to this entire YouTube thing, so just bear with me for a little bit. I promise I'll make it a point to upgrade things and invest in better audio and visuals at some point. But for the meantime, just bear with me. And like I said, leave me some tips, leave me any kind of feedback you have, because I believe in over my head is probably an understatement for tackling everything that I have to tackle. Not sure how well you can see it here, but right where I'm pointing is a huge forklift. It was like a military grade forklift. That's what my dad actually used to load car bodies with. Well, he didn't use it. He had a guy that worked for him and he ran that thing all day, and it would load 1 to 2 car bodies at a time, smash the tops in, stack them on a trailer. And you know, that was how he made money. It was what he liked. He enjoyed it. Along with that are the leftovers and the cleanup process, and just siphoning through all of this one piece at a time, sorting the good from the bad and going from there. You know, one question I get asked sometimes, and one question I've even asked myself a few times, is wouldn't it just be easier to sell this get rid of it, get the, you know, the weight and the hassle of doing all this right off your back? And the answer to that honestly is yeah, 100% yeah. It would be easier to pack everything up that's worth anything to me, list the property up for sale and let it go. There's a part of me that just can't do that. You know, as crappy and cruddy as this place looks to most people, and even to me, I mean, I'm not denying the fact that it's ugly. My dad worked his entire life to be able to afford to buy this 10 acres of property and invest in it. You know, those cars and the junk and the leftover metal and all those things, they weren't just trash to him, they were investments. So yeah, it would be easier to sell it, but you know, I grew up here. My dad built an entire life to make this place his. I spent about 23 years of my life here. I grew up in that trailer that you see right behind me, you know, and when I was a kid, all I wanted was out. You know, I'll talk about this a little bit more next episode when I go into the backstory and throw pictures up and show this place fully operational. But as a kid, not so much, but as a junior high student into high school, all I wanted was out. Not necessarily out of this place or even out of this town, but I just wanted out of that house. Self-comparison, you know, I mean, what can you say? It's kind of an ugly trait, but it's kind of a trait that especially kids in that junior high to high school range go through. You know, I noticed that kids around me had nicer cars and their parents had nicer houses, and it's not wrong to want to better yourself, but I think it is wrong to hold yourself to such dumb standards. You know, not that wanting to better yourself is dumb, but I think it's dumb to self-compare yourself to people who, you know, are not even near similar to you. And that was one of the things that I used to do constantly. So, you know, I did go to college and, you know, I ended up with 2 degrees and a minor, and I didn't get out. You know, the house I bought was about 3 miles from here. It's where I live now. It's not a great house. It's not perfect. But I guess, you know, it doesn't have wheels underneath, which 16-year-old me would be ecstatic about. 27-year-old me couldn't really care any less at this point. You know, there is a sentimental, there is an emotional kind of pull to this place, even still for some reason. There's a part of me that wants to fix this thing up, that wants to restore it. Think of buying an old car and spending time and restoring it and seeing how beautiful it can come into. I want to do that with this property. I want to take this property from old and overgrown and just beyond cluttered, and I want to make it something nice. You know, I want to invest in this place the same way this place invested in me. Those junk cars up there helped put me through college. My dad taking radiators out of cars and cutting the brass out and doing those little minute things helped pay for me to be able to get out. And now to see that I've come full circle and now just want to stay here and make this place something great, it's completely amazing to me. Like I said, I'm sorry it's not great. I'm sorry the quality of the video and the audio probably aren't great. But if you like this place as much as I do, or even anywhere near as much as I do, and you like seeing those kind of transformations happen, and you like, you know, seeing things transform from something not so great to something better, then do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you want to stay along for this journey, subscribe. That would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to my first ever video. I gotta tell you, I've got some big plans for this place come spring. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next video. Cannot wait to take you along with me on this journey. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one.